Did you hear the bird? Yeah, I need to get out places like this a lot more often. Shit, I wouldn't mind. Let me just leave my car parked somewhere in the parking lot here and fucking go. And leave me the heck alone. Let me pitch a tent somewhere out here. Right? That'd be cool. Nah, except the second you left your tent, somebody would screw with it, steal it, or somebody from the park would come along and tell you to get the fuck out if you're not paying $30, $40 a night or something for a concrete slab to put your tent on or whatever. Back over here is where I'd want to camp. Back on these like big trails and off on the side of that shit, it would be a cool place to camp. Like out around here. Not their actual campsite areas. Like those are kind of crappy places to camp. Over here, like if you're tent camping, one of these spots like back over there, up there, you know, would be where it'd be cool to fucking put a tent down. But you'd have people bugging you all the time and get kicked out and be like, get out. Oh well. Yep. Went on a midnight train to Georgia. I thought about doing that. Listen to that song. I remember playing that song and feeling like it was speaking to me, kind of, when I was packing all my stuff, getting ready to take off back last June, late June, early July. Had this old TV plugged in there, and I was playing YouTube and finding music, and I was playing that song. Or no, that song just came up as like a recommendation. I click on it, it's like, he's leaving on a midnight train to Georgia. You know? And then I saw that there were like cheap houses in Georgia in some places. But you can't even hardly get a hold of the real estate agent. If you do, they don't have any answers to any of your questions. And you'd basically just have to go in there basically blind, and I haven't seen the cheap houses listed still, but there were ones that were like fucking, you know, $15,000, but I don't know how bad they are, you know, because they have like, oh, here's the pictures of some good stuff, but we won't bother to go inside and take detailed pictures to show you what's wrong with it, you know. What exactly you need to fix before some county zoning prick will even let you live in the damn thing, you know. I think Georgia would be a good place to live, probably. It's up over by Florida. It'd be a perfect climate to grow. Like, you could probably grow oranges and kiwi and fucking star fruit. You know, lemons and limes and whatever the hell you wanted over there. Grow freaking banana trees. Yeah. Assuming you had some sort of yard. Yep. We grow peaches and figs. Quince. Dragon fruit. On and on and on. Oh, that's the dream, man. You know, these trails out here in a lot of ways. What this reminds me of is like when you're walking out on these trails and you got these like cleared areas out like this, and in some places there's even some stairs that have been built and little bridges over waterways, and then there's these wide paths that are heavily traveled looking, hills and all that. It reminds me of what, like, I envision like the world would used to have been like when you're traveling, say, from one city to another, before there were so many horse and carts, and people mostly used to walk or maybe ride a horse from one town to another, one county to another. You just travel for probably, walk 50 or hundreds and hundreds of miles or something all across the country on trails, forest areas that look like this. Only probably even more overgrown though. And trails just like that people just blaze over the years. Oh, it's the road to this other town. Oh yeah, go that way. Maybe some people put some signs in at some point with an arrow every now and then. Maybe somebody's built some wood steps like that somewhere, or some little makeshift bridges over a creek and stuff. But I mean, that's the way, like, that was roads back in the day. And then you'd walk into a town, some villages, villages or something, little, storefronts and taverns and inns, and it would just be, all privately owned. No such thing as a big mega corporation, aside from the king or whatever, I guess you could call that. But even the king didn't like have monopoly over everything. He just took a cut out of people's shit, but he didn't own all their businesses or any kind of shit like that. The whole robber baron thing didn't exist back in the day. Not really. The closest thing to that was like kings, warlords and shit like that. But you just imagine though, a world where you can just walk around for miles and miles out in nature, trails like that. You could, hunt a deer and cook it over a fire and set up your camp out anywhere. You carry a freaking sword or something on you. Some trouble came along or somebody tried to rob you, fight them off. Go from city to city or village to village or whatever. If you were traveling, you could just walk all over the place, all over the whole country, in some beautiful trails like this. Hunt and fish along the way. Sleep out under the stars. And then you could find some village or build a hut. Just live. If you decided you wanted to settle down someplace, you just take out some tools and cut down some little trees like this and start building yourself a cabin wherever you damn well please, Stack up some rocks and make a stove, place to cook. Set up a fire pit in the center of the place or whatever for light and heat in the wintertime. You would make your bed out of whatever natural material, Trade with people. No fiat currency, real money, or real just barters, You're like, hey, I'll trade you this necklace for that knife, or I'll trade you I'll give you this belt for those shoes. I'll trade you these gloves for that hat, Trade you these apples for that blueberry pie, you know, whatever. I'll trade you some venison jerky for that gunpowder, or for those arrows, you know. Oh, look, I've got this bag of berries. I'll trade you these berries for that, what, you know, that's the way it used to freaking be. Or heck, you could walk through the woods and like find a patch of flowers, grab an armload of flowers out of a patch and just walk into town and stand on the side of the road. Hey, would the missus like to buy some flowers? Buy a flower? Yeah, right. You know, that's the way it used to be, man. And if you had a patch of land and a house built, well, you could just gather seeds and plants, and you could make your garden. And if you got enough, you could really get a decent harvest every year, and then you could sell that at market and trade things, you know, for other things. And you could, you know, say trade some, you know, if you lived in a place long enough, and say you planted a bunch of apple trees or something, you could gather up a bunch of your apples, if you had an orchard or something, and take them to market, trade for grains and wheat, rice, beans, whatever the heck you needed, right? Build a freaking smokehouse or something and dry your meat, hang it up on a hook like a smokehouse, you know, just a store. Fuck. I hate the modern world, I really do. I despise so much about it. I don't mind that I can easily get pretty clean water, maybe, if I choose wisely and get the right stuff, maybe, you know. But hell, honestly, you used to be able to get clean water by just dipping your hand into a river or a lake or something, you know. Nowadays, if you even go hunting or fishing or something, you know, goddamn trout in the lake or something are probably, you know, on their 5th booster or something by now. Freaking deer roaming in the woods has probably got a tracking device in his ear and like a, you know, has been vaccinated 75 times for COVID. Don't forget the squirrels. We gotta vaccinate the squirrels. No, I shit you not. They like were vaccinating. They look up vaccinate the, followed by literally any animal or insect that you can think of, basically, and just search that as a search term in your search engine there. Why don't you see what pops up? I shit you not, dude. You'd be like, vaccinate the squirrels, vaccinate the birds, vaccinate the bees, vaccinate the whales, vaccinate the deer, vaccinate the cows, you know, vaccinate the giraffes, vaccinate the monkey, you know. Seriously, look it up. Look at any fucking thing you want. Vaccinate the bees, vaccinate the snakes. Like, they're probably, you know, there's like, I shit you not, dude. Look it up. Yet another example of like why I'm like, no, this can't be real. It's got to be a simulation. Take me back to the medieval time simulation. Yeah, medieval time simulation. God, was that New Zealand or something, and that where they film all these movies like that? And TV shows, you know, like Legendary Journeys of Hercules, and, you know, all these movies where they have to, like, where they want to go wander down trails like this for many miles, and where it looks like old medieval roads and stuff like that. I think that's New Zealand. I guess I'll stop recording.